Hello, fellow history enthusiasts. Tonight, we venture into the whimsical and often overlooked world of ancient maritime guardians, the lighthouse keepers of the 19th century. Picture yourself standing on a rugged coastline, the salty breeze your hair as the waves crash against the jagged rocks below. The sun dips low on the horizon, casting a golden hue over the tranquil sea, while the beam of light from the towering lighthouse sweeps across the water. Seen where the light serves as a beacon of hope for weary sailors navigating the treacherous waters. But let's be real for a moment. You probably won't survive this journey without a few good laughs and some fascinating stories about the oddities of lighthouse life. So, before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe button. Only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. And while you're at it, why not share your location and local time in the comments? It's always interesting to see where our listeners are tuning in from. Now, dim the lights, maybe turn on a fan for that soft background hum, and let's ease into tonight's journey together as we explore the life of a 19th century lighthouse keeper. You'll discover that their daily responsibilities were as demanding as they were solitary. Imagine waking up before dawn, the air crisp and cool, to tend to the great light that would guide ships safely through the night. The life of a keeper was filled with routine yet fraught with challenges, as they were often stationed on remote coastlines, far from bustling towns and the comforts of civilization. Lighthouse keepers had to be coval trades, skilled in maintenance, navigation, and even a bit of cooking. Their primary duty was to ensure the light remained operational, a task that involved winding the clockwork mechanisms that turned the massive lenses, polishing glass, and replenishing fuel. The lens technology of the time was quite fascinating. Made of glass and often encased in intricate frames, these lenses amplified the light from an oil lamp, casting a beam that could be seen from miles away. But it wasn't just about the light. Keepers had to maintain the structure itself, repairing any damage from storms or the relentless sea spray. They would often climb to the top of the tower, a dizzying height, to check the lantern and make sure everything was in working order. This job required not only physical strength, but also a keen understanding of how the elements could affect their work. Historians still argue whether the romanticized notion of the solitary keeper is an accurate depiction of their lives, or just a narrative embellishment. Some suggest that these men were heroic figures, while others contend they were simply doing a job that often went unnoticed. Regardless, their contributions to maritime safety were invaluable, and their stories are filled with both hardship and humor. Now, let's take a closer look at the lighthouse itself. These towering structures were often built in isolated locations, strategically placed to mark dangerous coastlines, hazardous shoals, and safe entry points to harbors. The design of lighthouses varied widely, from the squat, sturdy towers of New England to the slender, elegant designs in the Mediterranean. One of the most iconic features of a lighthouse is its light. The lens system, whether it was a Fresnel lens or a simpler design, was a marvel of engineering. The Fresnel lens, developed in the early 19th century, used concentric rings to focus light into a powerful beam that could reach great distances. This innovation revolutionized lighthouse design and effectiveness, allowing keepers to signal ships with unprecedented clarity. The life of a lighthouse keeper was not without its quirks and challenges. being stationed on a rocky outcrop with only the sound of crashing waves and the occasional seabird for company. During storms, the wind howled like a banshee, and rain lashed against the walls, creating an atmosphere that was both terrifying and awe-inspiring. Yet, despite the solitude, many keepers found comfort in their routines. They would often read, write letters, or keep logs of weather patterns and ship activities. Some even developed friendships with passing sailors, sharing stories and provisions. This camaraderie, albeit limited, provided a sense of connection in an otherwise solitary existence. As we delve deeper into the life of a lighthouse keeper, you'll see how these individuals became integral to the safety of maritime travel, their stories intertwined with the ebb and flow of the sea. So, let's continue to illuminate the fascinating world of these guardians of the coast, where duty, isolation, and the beauty of the light merge into a unique tapestry of life. As we continue our journey, let's delve into the architectural wonders that are lighthouses. These magnificent structures were designed not just for functionality, but also to stand resilient against the harsh elements of nature. Imagine approaching a lighthouse, its tall, cylindrical form rising majestically against the backdrop of a stormy sky, painted in shades of gray and blue, with waves crashing dramatically against the rocks below. Each lighthouse had its own unique design, often reflecting the local culture and resources available at the time. The construction of a lighthouse was no small feat. Builders utilized local materials, which could range from sturdy stone to brick, depending on what was available. The base was typically wide and solid, designed to withstand strong winds and the relentless assault of waves. As you ascend the structure, the walls narrow, leading to the light chamber at the top. This clever design not only provided stability, but also allowed the light to shine brighter and farther, guiding ships safely to shore. One notable example is the iconic Eddystone Lighthouse off the coast of England. Its design evolved over time, with the first structure being built in 1698. The original lighthouse was made of wood, which was a daring choice given the harsh conditions of the sea, a symbol of resilience and ingenuity. Each iteration of the Eddystone Lighthouse showcased advancements in engineering and design, reflecting the ongoing quest to improve maritime safety. Inside the lighthouse, the keeper's living quarters were typically modest, featuring a small kitchen, a living area, and a bedroom. Picture a cozy space decorated with simple furnishings, perhaps a wooden table covered with charts and maps, a few well-loved books, and a small stove for warmth. The keeper needed to be self-sufficient, as supplies were often limited and deliveries could be infrequent. As a result, many keepers became adept at preserving food and making the most of what they had. Keepers often relied on the seasons for their supply deliveries. During the warmer months, boats could navigate closer to the shore, making it easier to bring fresh provisions. But as winter approached, the sea could become treacherous, cutting off access for weeks at a time. But it also fostered a unique sense of independence and resilience among keepers. Historians still debate the impact of such isolation on the mental health of lighthouse keepers. Some argue that it forced them into a solitary existence that could lead to feelings of loneliness and despair, while others suggest that the beauty and tranquility of their surroundings provided a soothing balm for their souls. Imagine standing At the top of the lighthouse, gazing out at the endless expanse of the ocean, the horizon blending into a palette of oranges and purples as the sun sets a moment of peace amidst the rigors of duty. The light itself was the crowning glory of the lighthouse. Keepers were responsible for maintaining the light, which involved regular tasks such as cleaning the lenses and refueling the lamp. The excitement of watching the light beam cut through the darkness, signaling safety to passing ships, was a significant part of their daily life in the 19th century. Advancements in technology transformed the way lighthouses operated. The introduction of the Fresnel lens, developed by French physicist Augustin-Jean Fresnel, was a game-changer. This innovative lens design allowed for a more concentrated beam of light, significantly increasing visibility for ships navigating perilous waters. Picture a keeper carefully adjusting the lens, ensuring that the light would shine brightly and consistently. A beacon of hope for sailors braving the dark seas. With each passing night, the keeper would climb the winding staircase to the lantern room, a ritual that became second nature. As they lit the lamp and polished the lens, the keeper would often reflect on the lives they touched through their work. The light not only guided ships, but also represented a connection to the world beyond the rocky shores. Historians continue to explore the significance of lighthouses in maritime culture. Were they merely practical structures, or did they also serve as symbols of hope and safety for those venturing into the unknown? We find that these towering beacons were not just about light. They were about the lives they safeguarded, the stories they witnessed, and the keepers who dedicated their lives to their flame. As we proceed, let's uncover more about the daily routines of these dedicated individuals and the challenges they faced while performing their crucial roles as guardians of the coast. As we delve deeper into the daily life of a 19th century lighthouse keeper, you might envision a life defined by routine and responsibility, punctuated by the rhythm of the tides and the passage of time. Each day began before dawn, often with the keeper rising to the sound of waves crashing against the rocks, mixed with the distant calls of seabirds. Picture yourself stepping out onto the balcony of the lighthouse, the salty breeze brushing against your face as you prepare to begin your duties. The first task of the day was typically to check the light. The keeper would ascend the spiral staircase, a well-trodden path with the scent of oil and salt lingering in the air. Upon reaching the lantern room, they would inspect the glass lenses, ensuring they were clean and clear of any grime that could diminish the light's effectiveness. This routine was crucial, as a single smudge could mean the difference between safety and disaster for a ship navigating treacherous waters. Once satisfied with the light, the keeper would often prepare breakfast. The living quarters, though modest, were equipped with a small kitchen area. Imagine cooking over a simple stove, perhaps preparing a hearty porridge or frying some salted fish, all while keeping an eye on the horizon for any signs of incoming vessels. Meals were often solitary affairs, but the keeper had learned to appreciate the quiet moments, finding comfort in the solitude of the lighthouse. After breakfast, the keeper would turn their attention to the maintenance of the lighthouse itself. This could involve everything from repairing the wooden structure to painting the exterior to protect it from the harsh marine environment. The paint, often a bright white or red, served to make the lighthouse visible even in poor weather conditions. Picture the keeper brush in hand, climbing a ladder to reach the upper sections. Home. Weather played a significant role in the life of a lighthouse keeper. On sunny days, the work could be enjoyable, with the warmth of the sun and the sound of the sea providing a pleasant backdrop. However, when storms rolled in, the atmosphere changed dramatically. Loose items around the lighthouse, the waves crashing violently against the rocks, sending sprays of salt water high into the air. During such storms, the keeper would often remain vigilant, monitoring the light and preparing for any potential rescues of vessels. These logs served not only as records for the authorities, but also as a personal diary of sorts. Essence of life at the lighthouse. Documenting the mundane alongside the extraordinary. One quirky aspect of Lighthouse life was the occasional visit from curious locals or fishermen. These visits provided a welcome break from solitude and allowed for the sharing of stories and news from the outside world. Picture the keeper welcoming a fisherman who rowed over to share tales of the sea, their laughter echoing in the lantern room as they exchanged fishing tips and local gossip. These moments of connection were precious, reminding the keeper that despite their isolation, fostered a deep sense of introspection and resilience, while others suggest that it could lead to loneliness and despair. The balance between solitude and community was delicate, and each keeper navigated it in their unique way. As the sun dipped below the horizon, through the dark waters, the lantern room would become a haven of warmth and light, a stark contrast to the cold, dark sea outside. Imagine lighting the oil lamp, the flickering flame casting dancing shadows on the walls, into a routine of vigilance, peering out at the sea and listening for the sounds of approaching vessels. The night was often filled with the distant sounds of the ocean and the occasional call of a gull, creating a serene yet alert atmosphere. Each night brought its own challenges and rewards, as the keeper remained steadfast in their commitment to safeguarding those who sailed the waters. As we continue to uncover the life of a lighthouse keeper, let's explore the profound impact of their work on maritime safety and the stories that emerged from the light they tended. As we continue our exploration of the life of a lighthouse keeper, let's delve into the fascinating mechanics of the lighthouse light itself. This glowing beacon was not merely a practical tool. Picture yourself in the lantern room, surrounded by the intricate glass and metal apparatus that harnessed light to guide ships safely to shore. At the heart of the lighthouse was the light source, typically an oil lamp that burned whale oil or kerosene. Imagine the keeper carefully filling the lamp with fuel, maintaining the delicate balance between brightness and safety. The flame flickered, casting shadows on the walls, while the keeper adjusted the wick to ensure an even burn. This was not just about illumination. It was about creating a reliable signal for sailors who relied on the lighthouse to navigate treacherous waters. The true magic of the lighthouse light lay in its lens system. Many lighthouses utilized the Fresnel lens, a revolutionary design that maximized the light output. The glass, ensuring that it was crystal clear, allowing the light to project far across the sea, creating a powerful beam visible from great distances. Enveloped the coast, the keeper would ignite the lamp, and the light would begin its nightly dance across the waters. Imagine the sight of that beam cutting through the darkness, a lifeline for sailors navigating the perilous coastline. The light flashed rhythmically, often in a pattern unique to each lighthouse, allowing mariners to identify their location. With confidence, historians still debate the effectiveness of lighthouse lights in preventing shipwrecks, while others contend that human error, such as misjudgment of distances, remained a critical factor. Regardless of the debate, the reliance on these lights was undeniable, and the keepers understood the weight of their responsibility. The keeper's role extended beyond just maintaining the light. They were also tasked with observing the sea and weather conditions. Each night brought its own challenges, with fog, storms, and rough seas complicating the task of guiding ships. Picture the keeper peering through a small window, watching the waves crash violently against the rocks, their heart racing as they prepared for the possibility of a rescue mission. In times of extreme weather, the lighthouse became a sanctuary, both for the keeper and for any sailors who managed to find refuge. During fierce storms, the lighthouse would sway slightly in the wind, but its light remained steadfast, a symbol of hope in the chaos. Imagine the relief of a sailor spotting the beam in the distance, guiding them to safety amidst the tumultuous waves. When the sea calmed, the keeper would often venture out to inspect the shoreline for any signs of wreckage or stranded vessels. This part of the job was both dangerous and rewarding, as they could potentially save lives. Picture the keeper wading through the surf, the cold water lapping at their legs, scanning the horizon for any signs of trouble. Their training and instincts kicked in, enabling them to act quickly should a rescue be necessary. Additionally, the keeper maintained a logbook, documenting the weather conditions, ship movements, and any notable events that occurred during their watch. Imagine the keeper sitting at a small desk, quill in hand, as they recorded the day's happenings while the ocean roared outside. These logs not only served as records for maritime authorities, but also captured the essence of life at the lighthouse, preserving stories of bravery and resilience. As we continue to uncover the intricacies of lighthouse life, we'll explore the profound connections that formed between keepers and the maritime community they served. These relationships were vital, as they bridged the gap between the solitude of the lighthouse and the bustling life of the sea. As we delve deeper into the connections formed between lighthouse keepers and the maritime community, it's essential to understand the unique role these guardians played in the lives of sailors and fishermen. Picture the lighthouse standing tall against the backdrop of a stormy sea, its light piercing through the darkness, offering not just guidance, but a sense of security to those navigating the treacherous waters. The keeper was not just a solitary figure. They were a vital link in the network of maritime safety. Lighthouse keepers often established informal relationships with local fishermen and sailors. Imagine a grizzled fisherman docking his boat after a long day, walking up to the lighthouse with a basket of fresh catch in hand, eager to share stories of the day's adventures into the conditions at sea, and fostered a sense of camaraderie that was crucial in such an isolated profession. The lighthouse was a hub of activity, especially during the busy fishing seasons. Fishermen would frequently stop by to check in with the keeper, exchanging news about the latest catches or sharing warnings about approaching storms. Picture the keeper standing at the entrance, leaning against the doorframe, listening intently, as a fisherman animatedly recounts a near miss with a rogue wave, their laughter filling the air and momentarily dispelling the solitude. During these visits, the keeper would sometimes receive gifts of fresh fish or homemade goods as tokens of gratitude for their service. Imagine the keeper enjoying a warm meal prepared from the day's catch, grateful for the connection to the outside world that these interactions provided. Such gestures were not merely about sustenance. They represented a mutual respect and acknowledgement of the keeper's role as a protector. However, the keeper's responsibilities extended beyond casual conversations. When emergencies arose, the lighthouse keeper often became the first responder. Picture a stormy night when a ship is spotted struggling against the waves. The keeper quickly signaling for help with a series of powerful flashes from the light. Their heart races as they prepare to assist in a rescue operation, knowing that lives depend on their actions. In some instances, keepers would even venture out into the stormy seas in small boats to assist distressed vessels. This was no small feat, as the treacherous waters could easily turn dangerous. Imagine the keeper, drenched and battling the elements, navigating through the tumultuous waves, determined to reach those in need. Such acts of bravery cemented the keeper's status as a local hero, further strengthening the bond between Lighthouse and community. Historians still debate the extent of the keeper's involvement in rescue operations, while others suggest that their role naturally evolved into that of a community protector. Regardless, the keeper's actions during emergencies showcased their dedication and commitment to safeguarding those who ventured into the unpredictable seas. As the seasons changed, so too did the interactions between keepers and the maritime community. During the winter months, when storms were frequent and the sea was unforgiving, the keeper's light became even more critical. Picture the scene as snow begins to fall, blanketing the landscape in white, while the keeper remains vigilant, ensuring that the light shines brightly against the backdrop of a darkening sky. During these colder months, visits from fishermen became less frequent, but the bonds formed during the warmer seasons remained strong. Keepers would often receive letters from sailors or fishermen who had moved away, sharing updates about their lives and expressing gratitude for the keeper's guidance. Lantern, feeling a sense of connection to the broader world despite the isolation of the lighthouse. As we reflect on these relationships, it's important to acknowledge the emotional toll of lighthouse life. The solitude could weigh heavily on a keeper, but the friendships formed with the maritime community provided a vital lifeline. These connections reminded them that they were not alone in their duties. They were part of a larger narrative, woven into the fabric of the coastal landscape. As we continue to explore the life of a lighthouse keeper, we'll examine the challenges they faced in maintaining their duties amidst the complexities of community dynamics and the ever-changing sea. As we delve into the challenges faced by lighthouse keepers, it's important to recognize that their lives were not solely defined by the light they maintained or the community they served. The unpredictable nature of the sea posed constant threats, and the keeper had to be ready for anything. Imagine standing at the top of the lighthouse, the wind howling fiercely around you as dark clouds gather ominously on the horizon. The atmosphere is charged with anticipation, and you know that a storm is brewing. When storms hit the lighthouse, keepers' duties intensified. The light had to shine brighter than ever to guide not only the vessels at sea, but also to signal any nearby fishermen returning home. The winding staircase to the lantern room. Each step is a reminder of the responsibility resting on their shoulders. The beam of light must cut through the storm, unwavering in its duty. During severe weather, the keeper would often secure the lighthouse itself, checking windows and reinforcing doors to withstand the battering winds and waves. Imagine the sound of the storm as it slams against the sturdy structure, a cacophony that drowns out all other noise. The keeper's heart races as they ensure that the light remains visible. The keeper spots a ship struggling against the waves, its crew fighting to stay afloat. With a flick of the lever, the light flashes a warning, signaling for help. The keeper's mind races, weighing the decision to launch a rescue boat against the dangers of the storm. Such moments were filled with tension, but the keeper knew that their training and instincts would guide them. Historians still debate the effectiveness of lighthouse rescues during storms. Some argue that the keeper's actions saved countless lives, while others suggest that the inherent risks often outweighed the benefits. Regardless of the debate, each rescue attempt solidified the keeper's role as a protector of the coast, a guardian who stood watch against the night as the storm begins to subside. The aftermath presents its own set of challenges. The keeper would often venture out to assess any damage to the lighthouse and the surrounding area. Picture the scene as they step outside, the air heavy with the scent of salt and seaweed. The lighthouse stands tall, but the remnants of the storm are evident. In the days following a storm, the keeper would often receive visits from local fishermen and sailors, eager to share their experiences and offer thanks for the guidance provided by the lighthouse. These interactions were heartwarming, reaffirming the keeper's sense of purpose. Imagine the camaraderie as stories of survival and near misses are exchanged, laughter mingling with relief as the community comes together to support one another. However, the isolation of lighthouse life could weigh heavily on the keeper, especially after such tumultuous events. The emotional toll of witnessing the sea's power and the risks faced by sailors was profound. Some keepers turned to journaling, recording their thoughts and feelings in the logbook, a practice that provided an outlet for their emotions. Picture the keeper sitting quietly at their desk, pen in hand, reflecting on the day's events, the flickering light casting a warm glow against the pages. Additionally, the lighthouse served as a reminder of the fragility of life at sea. Shipwrecks were a sobering reality, and the keeper often dealt with the aftermath of such tragedies. Imagine the somber atmosphere as they assist in recovery efforts, helping to gather belongings washed ashore and offering comfort to grieving families. These moments were heavy with sorrow, but also highlighted the importance of the keeper's role in the community. As we continue to explore the life of a lighthouse keeper, let's examine the unique relationship they had with the changing seasons, and how these shifts affected their duties and interactions with the world around them. As we turn our attention to the changing seasons, picture the transition from the vibrant hues of autumn, where leaves dance in the cool breeze, to the stark, quiet beauty of winter, where everything is blanketed in white. Each season not only altered the landscape, but also impacted the keeper's daily routines and interactions with the maritime community in the fall. As the weather began to cool, the lighthouse keeper would prepare for the impending storms that often accompanied the changing season. Imagine the keeper checking supplies, ensuring that oil for the lamps and provisions for themselves were adequately stocked. The days would grow shorter, and with the sun setting earlier, the keeper knew that their vigilance was more critical than ever. The light would become a lifeline for fishermen returning from long days at sea, a beacon guiding them safely home through the encroaching darkness. As autumn gave way to winter, the transformation was dramatic. The lighthouse, once surrounded by lush greenery and bustling activity, now stood against a backdrop of icy winds and crashing waves. Imagine the scene: snow swirling around the base of the lighthouse, the wind howling like a wild beast, while the keeper remains steadfast inside, tending to the flickering flame. The isolation during these months could feel particularly acute, with fewer visitors braving the cold to approach the lighthouse. Winter storms could be fierce, and the keeper faced the challenge of maintaining the light amidst harsh conditions. Picture the keeper bundled in thick layers, climbing to the lantern room to ensure that the light shone bright against the swirling snow. The sound of the wind rattling the windows and the waves crashing against the rocks created an almost eerie ambience, one that heightened the sense of solitude. The sight of the light cutting through the darkness was a reminder of their purpose. During the winter months, the keeper often relied on their skills in self-sufficiency. With supply deliveries becoming less frequent, they honed their ability to preserve food, utilizing techniques learned from previous winters. Imagine them carefully salting fish or drying herbs, ensuring that they could sustain themselves during the long stretches of isolation. The lighthouse became a self-contained world. The days grew longer, and with the melting snow came a return of life to the coastline. Imagine stepping outside to feel the warmth of the sun on your face, the air filled with the scent of fresh sea breeze mixed with blooming flowers. The sound of seabirds returning to the cliffs would signal a shift, bringing with it the promise of new beginnings. Spring also heralded the return of fishermen and sailors, eager to venture back out to sea after the long winter. The keepers' interactions with the maritime community would increase as boats began to dot the horizon once again. Picture the lively conversations that took place at the base of the lighthouse, where fishermen shared tales of their winter adventures, and the keeper offered updates on the light and conditions at sea. These moments of connection were vital, reminding the keeper that, despite the isolation of winter, the keeper would find themselves busier than ever, with more vessels navigating the waters and the light needing to shine brightly every night. Imagine the excitement as the sun sets later, casting a golden glow over the ocean, while the keeper prepares for the night shift. The warmth of summer brought with it a sense of camaraderie, as locals would often stop by to share food and stories, turning the lighthouse into a gathering place. Historians still debate the impact of seasonal changes on the mental health of lighthouse keepers. Some suggest that the isolation during the winter months could lead to feelings of depression, while others argue that the beauty of each season offered a form of solace. Regardless of the debate, the changing seasons shaped the keeper's experience, creating a unique tapestry of life that was deeply intertwined with the rhythms of nature. Let's explore the unique customs and traditions that emerged from their experiences, and the ever-present sea, as we explore the unique customs and traditions that emerged from the life of a lighthouse keeper. It's essential to recognize how their experiences shaped the culture surrounding these coastal beacons. The life of a keeper was not just about maintaining the light, it was also about fostering a sense of community and creating rituals that connected them with both the sea and the people who relied on their guidance. Picture the keeper standing at the entrance of the lighthouse, welcoming visitors with a warm smile, ready to share stories and traditions that had been passed down through generations. One of the most cherished traditions among lighthouse keepers was the gathering of local fishermen and sailors during significant events, such as the start of the fishing season or the celebration of a successful catch. Imagine a festive atmosphere as the community came together, bringing with them freshly caught fish and homemade delicacies, transforming the lighthouse into a hub of laughter and camaraderie. The keeper would often serve as the host, gathers around a large table set up outside the lighthouse, the sun setting in the background, casting a warm glow over the festivities. Before the meal begins, a moment of silence is observed to honor those lost at sea, a poignant reminder of the dangers that lay just beyond the shore. This moment of reflection served to strengthen the bonds among the community, reinforcing their shared connection to the ocean and the lighthouse that stood as a guardian over them in addition to communal meals. Lighthouse keepers often participated in local festivals and celebrations. These events provided a welcome respite from their solitary duties and allowed them to engage with the wider community. Imagine the keeper donning their best clothes, perhaps a simple yet elegant tunic, as they join the townsfolk in celebrating the harvest or a maritime festival. The air would be filled with the sounds of music, laughter, and the scent of delicious food, creating a vibrant atmosphere that contrasted sharply with the quiet of the lighthouse. The keeper's role extended beyond mere maintenance. They became storytellers, sharing tales of the sea and the adventures they had witnessed from their perch atop the lighthouse. Picture the children gathered around, eyes wide with wonder as the keeper recounts stories of shipwrecks, daring rescues, and the mysterious creatures that inhabit the ocean depths. These stories, filled with both caution and excitement, served to educate the younger generation about the sea's power and the importance of respecting it. Another tradition that emerged from lighthouse life was the practice of keeping a logbook, not just for official records, but as a means of documenting everyday life. Imagine the keeper sitting at their desk, quill in hand, writing about the day's events, the weather conditions, and any notable visitors. This logbook became a valuable historical record, capturing the essence of life at the lighthouse. Extraordinary events. Historians still debate the significance of these logbooks in understanding the social dynamics of coastal communities. Regardless of the interpretation, these records are invaluable for piecing together the stories of those who dedicated their lives to safeguarding the coast. As time passed, the traditions of lighthouse keepers began to evolve, influenced by advancements in technology and changes in society. The introduction of automated lights reduced the need for keepers, leading to a decline in the communal practices that had once flourished. Imagine the bittersweet feelings of the last keepers as they prepared to leave their posts, knowing that the light would continue to shine, but the vibrant community life they had nurtured would fade away. Despite the challenges brought by modernization, the legacy of lighthouse keepers and their customs lives on. Many coastal communities still celebrate maritime festivals, honoring their seafaring heritage and the keepers who once tended the lights that guided them home. Picture the scene as families gather on the shore, sharing stories of the past while gazing out at the lighthouse standing sentinel against the waves, a reminder of the resilience and spirit of those who came before. As we continue to uncover the life of a lighthouse keeper, community they cherished, as we delve into the stories of bravery and heroism that defined the lives of lighthouse keepers, it's important to recognize that their work often extended far beyond the mere maintenance of the light. These dedicated individuals were frequently called upon to act as first responders during maritime emergencies, risking their own safety to ensure the well-being of sailors in distress. Picture a stormy night, the wind howling and the seas churning violently, as the keeper stands watch in the lantern room, their heart racing at the sight of a ship struggling against the waves. When a distress signal was spotted, a flickering light or a series of distress rockets fired into the air, the keeper's training and instinct kicked in. Imagine the adrenaline surging through their veins as they quickly gather their gear, preparing to launch a rescue mission. To face the raging sea, one particularly harrowing tale involves a keeper who braved the elements to rescue a capsized fishing boat. Imagine the scene. The keeper, with the help of a local fisherman, sets out in a small, sturdy boat, battling the fierce waves and relentless wind. The roar of the ocean fills their ears as they navigate through the tumult, their eyes focused on the distant cries for help. This moment embodies the essence of courage, as the keeper knows that lives depend on their actions. As they approach the capsized boat, picture the rescue operation, where the keeper extends a hand to the first fisherman, pulling them aboard amid the chaos of the storm. Each successful rescue filled the keeper with a sense of purpose, reinforcing their commitment to safeguarding those who ventured into the unpredictable waters. Historians still debate the significance of lighthouse rescues in maritime culture. Some argue that these acts of bravery cemented the keeper's status as local heroes. Regardless of the interpretation, the stories of these rescues became woven into the fabric of the community, celebrated in local lore and passed down through generations. In addition to the dramatic rescues, vital role in assisting shipwreck survivors. Imagine the aftermath of a shipwreck, where the keeper arrives at the scene to find survivors washed ashore, cold and disoriented. The keeper's immediate response would be to offer warmth and shelter, guiding them back to the lighthouse where they could recover and regroup. These moments of compassion and hospitality showcased the keeper's humanity amidst the harsh realities of their environment. The lighthouse itself often became a refuge for those in need, providing not just light, but also safety and comfort. Picture the keeper lighting a fire in the small stove, preparing a warm meal for the weary survivors, and listening to their harrowing tales of survival at sea. These shared experiences helped forge a bond between the keeper and those they rescued, reminding everyone of the fragility of life on the ocean. As we continue to reflect on the heroism of lighthouse keepers, it's important to acknowledge the toll that such responsibilities could take. Staring out at the darkened sea, reflecting on the lives they had touched and the tragedies they had witnessed, this introspection was a vital part of their experience. Memorials, celebrating their contributions to maritime safety and the stories of resilience that emerged from their dedication. Picture a small coastal town holding an annual event in memory of the keepers, where families gather to share stories and honor the lives saved by those who stood watch over the sea dot. As we move forward, let's explore the decline of the lighthouse, keepers' role in the face of modernization and technological advancements, and how their legacy continues to resonate in contemporary maritime culture. As we turn our attention to the decline of the lighthouse keeper's role, it's essential to understand how technological advancements transformed maritime navigation and the way lighthouses operated. Throughout the 19th century, innovations in engineering and communication began to reshape the landscape of coastal safety, leading to significant changes in the responsibilities of lighthouse keepers. Out at the horizon, as the world around you evolves in ways that threaten to render your role obsolete, the introduction of automated lighting systems marked a turning point for lighthouses. These advancements eliminated the need for a keeper to tend the light manually, as new technologies allowed for lights to operate on timers and use electricity instead of oil. Picture the keeper watching as the familiar rituals of lighting the lamp and winding the clockwork mechanisms were replaced by the whir of machinery and the flicker of neon bulbs. This shift, while beneficial for maritime safety, also signified the beginning of the end. For the traditional role of lighthouse keepers, historians still debate the impact of automation on maritime safety. Some argue that the increased reliability of lights reduced accidents and improved navigation, while others contend that the absence of human oversight created new risks. With fewer keepers stationed at lighthouses, there was a growing reliance on technology, which sometimes failed during critical moments. Imagine a stormy night when the automated system malfunctions, leaving ships vulnerable without the guiding light of a dedicated keeper. As the 20th century approached, many lighthouses began to close or transition to automated systems, leading to a significant reduction in the number of lighthouse keepers. Picture the once bustling lighthouse, now eerily silent, as the last keeper locks the door for the final time, leaving behind the memories of countless storms, rescues, and stories shared with the community. This moment marked not just the end of an era for the keeper, but also for the communities that had relied on their steadfast presence. Despite the decline in traditional lighthouse keeping, the legacy of these guardians remains strong. Many former lighthouses have been preserved as historical sites, offering a glimpse into the past for visitors and locals alike. Hear the echoes of the keeper's footsteps and the stories that linger in the walls. These sites serve as reminders of the vital role that keepers played in maritime safety and the unique culture that developed around these coastal sentinels. Additionally, the romanticized image of the lighthouse keeper has found its way into popular culture, inspiring countless books, films, and artworks. Picture a cozy library filled with stories of adventure and heroism, where lighthouse keepers are portrayed as solitary heroes, battling the elements and saving lives. These narratives capture the essence of what it meant to be a keeper, emphasizing the bravery, dedication, and humanity that defined their lives. The decline of the lighthouse keeper's role also speaks to broader societal changes. As ships became larger and navigation technology advanced, the maritime industry evolved, and the demand for traditional keepers diminished. Historians still argue about the implications of this transition, Did it signify progress and safety? Or did it represent a loss of connection to the sea and the communities that relied on lighthouses? Despite the challenges posed by modernization, the spirit of the lighthouse keeper endures. Many coastal communities continue to celebrate their maritime heritage, hosting events that honor the stories and contributions of those who once stood watch over the sea. Imagine a lively festival on the beach, complete with music, food, and storytelling, where families gather to share tales of the brave keepers who guided their ancestors home. As we move forward in our exploration of lighthouse life, let's reflect on how the stories and traditions of these guardians continue to resonate in modern maritime culture, reminding us of the enduring legacy of those who dedicated their lives to safeguarding the coast. As we reflect on the enduring legacy of lighthouse keepers, it's fascinating to consider how their stories continue to inspire admiration and respect for maritime culture. The romantic image of the solitary keeper standing watch over the tumultuous sea evokes a sense of nostalgia for a time when human connections were paramount in ensuring safety at sea. Picture a coastal town where the lighthouse stands proudly, its light still shining brightly. As historical landmarks, many of these structures have been restored and are open to the public. Scent of salt and old wood filling the air as you reach the lantern room. The panoramic view of the ocean stretches before you, a breathtaking reminder of the keeper's daily vigil and the beauty of the world they protected. These preserved lighthouses often serve as educational sites, where visitors can learn about the history of maritime navigation and the vital role that keepers played in ensuring safe passage for sailors. Picture a group of children gathered around a knowledgeable guide, eyes wide with wonder as they hear tales of daring rescues and the challenges faced by keepers. This passing down of knowledge not only honors the legacy of the keepers, but also instills a sense of respect for the sea and its unpredictability. Moreover, many coastal communities celebrate their maritime section. Imagine a lively celebration on the beach, with local vendors selling fresh seafood, artisans showcasing their crafts, and musicians playing folk tunes that echo the spirit of the sea. These events often include storytelling sessions, where locals share anecdotes about lighthouse keepers and their contributions to maritime safety, fostering a sense of community and shared history in literature and art. The figure of the lighthouse keeper continues to captivate imaginations. Countless novels, poems, and paintings depict the solitary life of these guardians, often highlighting themes of isolation, bravery, and the struggle against nature. Interplay of light and shadow as the sun sets behind a lighthouse. Their work immortalizes the essence of lighthouse life, ensuring that the stories of keepers remain alive in the hearts and minds of future generations. Historians, some argue, that these representations romanticize their lives, glossing over the hardships and isolation they faced. Regardless of perspective, the stories of lighthouse keepers resonate with audiences, reminding us of the importance of duty, community, and resilience in the face of adversity. As we explore the modern implications of lighthouse keeping, it's essential to consider the advancements in technology that have reshaped maritime navigation. While the traditional role of the keeper may have diminished, the principles they upheld, safety, vigilance, and community, remain relevant today. Imagine a modern-day sailor navigating with GPS technology, yet still glancing up to see the familiar silhouette of a lighthouse on the horizon, a reassuring presence that harkens back to a time when human watchfulness was paramount. In recent years, some lighthouses have even been repurposed for new uses, such as bed and breakfasts or museums, allowing visitors to experience lighthouse life firsthand. Picture a couple spending a cozy weekend in a restored lighthouse, waking up to the sound of waves crashing below and the sight of the light sweeping across the sea. These transformations breathe new life into the stories of keepers, inviting people to engage with maritime history in a personal and meaningful way. As we move forward in our journey, let's reflect on the personal stories and experiences that shaped their lives, revealing the humanity behind the iconic figures who dedicated themselves to safeguarding the coast. As we delve into the personal stories of lighthouse keepers, it's important to recognize that behind the stoic figures maintaining the light were individuals with rich lives. Task of watching over the sea. Picture a young keeper, fresh out of training, standing at the base of a towering lighthouse, filled with a mix of excitement and trepidation as they prepare to take on the responsibility of guiding seafaring families or had backgrounds in navigation, which instilled in them a deep respect for the ocean and its unpredictable nature. Imagine a keeper who grew up listening to their grandfather's tales of maritime adventures, instilling a sense of duty and honor that would guide their own life choices. These stories fueled a passion for the sea and a desire to protect those who ventured into its depths. However, not all stories were filled with heroism and adventure. Some keepers faced personal struggles that added layers of complexity to their lives. Imagine a keeper who experienced the loss of a loved one, their grief compounded by the isolation of lighthouse life, surfaced during quiet moments as they reflected on their past while tending to the light. Such experiences highlighted the duality of their existence, charged with the responsibility of safety while grappling with their own humanity. Isolation also played a significant role in shaping the keeper's identity. Picture the long, lonely nights spent at the top of the lighthouse, watching the waves crash against the rocks below, with only the sound of the wind for company. While solitude could foster introspection, it could also lead to feelings of loneliness and despair. Many keepers found solace in writing, using journals to capture their thoughts, dreams, and daily observations. These writings became a form of therapy, allowing them to process their emotions and connect with their inner selves. Historians still debate the psychological impact of isolation, resilience, and independence, while others suggest it could lead to mental health challenges. Regardless of the interpretation, the emotional landscape of a keeper's life was undeniably complex and personal experience. In addition to their responsibilities, keepers often formed deep bonds with their families, who shared in the challenges of lighthouse life. Imagine a keeper's spouse and children living in the lighthouse, their laughter filling the halls as they adapted to the unique lifestyle. Routines. Picture the children playing games on the rocky shore, their imaginations ignited by the vastness of the ocean. Relationships. The keeper's long hours and isolation meant that family members had to be self-sufficient, often leading to feelings of abandonment or loneliness. Imagine a spouse waiting for the keeper to return from a rescue mission, anxiety gripping their heart as they wonder if they will return safely. These emotional dynamics created a delicate balance between duty to the sea and love for family within their communities. Imagine a keeper who, after years of dedicated service, becomes a local legend for their heroic rescues. These narratives served not only to honor the keeper's contributions, but also to inspire future generations too. Experiences of lighthouse keepers will reflect on how their stories intertwine with the broader historical context of maritime life. As we reflect on the broader historical context of lighthouse keepers, it's fascinating to consider how their experiences were intertwined with the maritime industry and the evolution of navigation throughout the 19th century. The role of the lighthouse keeper was not just a solitary endeavor. It was part of a larger network of maritime safety that evolved alongside advancements in technology and changes in society. Picture the keeper standing at the edge of the rocky coastline, gazing out at the horizon where ships dot the water, each one carrying its own story and purpose. During this period, the maritime industry was booming, driven by trade, exploration, and the expansion of commerce. As ships became larger and more sophisticated, the need for reliable navigation increased. Lighthouse keepers played a vital role in ensuring that these vessels could safely navigate the harbor filled with ships from various nations, each relying on the guidance of lighthouses to avoid hidden dangers and reach their travel. Unlike their sailing counterparts, steamships could navigate through adverse weather conditions and travel at greater speeds. However, this advancement also meant that the stakes were higher. The need for clear navigation became even more critical. Picture a steamship approaching the coast, its captain peering through the fog, searching for the reassuring beam of light from the lighthouse. Of lighthouse keepers, as traffic increased, so did the demand for more efficient communication between lighthouses and vessels. Picture the keeper at the top of the lighthouse, not only maintaining the light, but also using signal flags or even sound signals to communicate with passing ships. These methods provided essential information about weather conditions, navigational hazards, and other important details that could affect a ship's journey. Historians still debate the impact of these advancements on the role of lighthouse keepers. Some argue that increased technology diminished the need for human oversight, while others contend that the keeper's experience and intuition were irreplaceable aspects of maritime safety. Regardless of the perspective, the keeper's role evolved alongside the changing landscape of maritime travel. The need for skilled keepers remained, but it did not eliminate the need for their expertise. The intricacies of maintaining the light, passing down knowledge that had been honed through years of experience. These interactions not only ensured the continued safety of the lighthouse, but also fostered a sense of community and continuity. The stories of Lighthouse began to take on more roles in maritime life. Some became keepers in their own right, challenging traditional gender norms. Imagine a woman standing tall at the base of a lighthouse, ready to take on the responsibilities that had long been dominated by men. Her determination and skill contributed to the rich tapestry of lighthouse history. Lighthouse keepers. It's important to acknowledge the cultural significance of these guardians of the coast. Their stories have become woven into the fabric of maritime folklore, celebrated in literature, art, and popular culture. Keepers It's clear that their stories have transcended time, finding a place in literature, art, and popular culture. These guardians of the coast have inspired countless tales that capture the imagination and evoke a sense of wonder about life at sea. Pages as readers immerse themselves in the adventures of lighthouse keepers in literature. Lighthouse keepers often symbolize resilience and solitude, representing the struggle against nature and the isolation that comes with duty. Classic novels and poems frequently depict these figures as heroic yet vulnerable, standing sentinel against the elements. Imagine curling up with a classic maritime tale where the lighthouse keeper faces a fierce storm, their unwavering commitment to guiding ships home a testament to their bravery. These narratives remind us of the human spirit's strength and the sacrifices made in the name of safety. One notable work that captures the essence of lighthouse life is, while the story is not solely about lighthouse keeping, it uses the lighthouse as a powerful symbol of aspiration and permanence amidst the fleeting nature of life. The lighthouse becomes a metaphor for both guidance and the complexities of human relationships, illustrating how these structures can evoke deep emotional connections. Readers are drawn into the world of the lighthouse, reflecting on their own experiences of longing and belonging, in addition to literature, have found inspiration in these structures, capturing their elegance against dramatic seascapes. Imagine walking through an art gallery filled with paintings of lighthouses standing tall against stormy skies, the chaos of crashing waves. These artworks convey not only the physical presence of the lighthouse, but also the emotions associated with its hope, often portraying them as solitary figures with rich inner lives. Films and television shows frequently depict lighthouse keepers as guardians of the coast, facing both external threats and internal struggles, showcasing the duality of their existence as both protector and human being. These portrayals resonate with audiences in various coastal communities, representing not only maritime heritage, but also a sense of place and identity. Imagine visiting a coastal town where the lighthouse stands as a beloved landmark, drawing tourists and locals alike, fostering a sense of pride and connection to the sea. Historians still debate the long-term impact of lighthouse keepers on maritime culture. Some argue that their stories have become romanticized, while others contend that these narratives serve to honor their contributions to maritime safety. Regardless of perspective, the legacy of lighthouse keepers endures, a testament to their unwavering dedication and the lives they touched. As we continue to explore the stories that let's reflect on the personal anecdotes and experiences that have shaped the cultural as we reach the final chapter of our exploration into the lives of lighthouse keepers. It's important to reflect on the multitude of personal anecdotes and experiences that have shaped the cultural narrative surrounding these guardians of the coast. Each keeper had their own unique story, filled with moments of triumph, heartache, and connection to the sea. Picture a quaint coastal village where the stories of lighthouse keepers are woven into the very fabric of the community, passed down through generations like cherished heirlooms. One of the most enduring legends involves a keeper who was known for his uncanny ability to predict storms. Imagine a scene where the keeper, standing atop the lighthouse, gazes out at the horizon, sensing the subtle changes in the air and the movement of the waves. Locals would often come to him for advice, relying on his instincts to determine whether it was safe to set sail. This keeper became a trusted figure in the community, not just for his role in maintaining the light, but for his deep connection to the rhythms of nature. There are also tales of romance that blossomed in the shadow of the lighthouse. Picture a young woman from a nearby village who would often bring the keeper meals and supplies. As the seasons changed, so did their relationship, evolving from friendship into a deep bond forged by shared experiences and the isolation of lighthouse life. Their love story became a local legend, symbolizing the connection between the keeper and the community, illustrating how even in solitude, human connection can flourish. But not all stories were filled with joy. Some keepers faced personal tragedies that left a lasting impact on their lives. Imagine a keeper who lost a loved one to the sea, their grief compounded by the isolation of lighthouse life. This keeper would often be seen gazing out at the waves, lost in thought, carrying the weight of their loss while still fulfilling their duties. Such stories serve as poignant reminders of the emotional complexities that accompanied the keeper's role, highlighting the humanity behind the unwavering light dot. As we consider the legacy of lighthouse keepers, it's important to acknowledge the ongoing connection between these figures and the communities they served. Many coastal towns still celebrate their maritime history through festivals and events that honor the contributions of lighthouse keepers. Picture a lively gathering on the beach, where families share stories of the keepers who once watched over them, their laughter mingling with the sound of waves crashing against the shore. These events not only honor the past, but also foster a sense of unity and pride among community members. In recent years, there has been a resurgence of interest in lighthouse preservation, with many communities working to restore and maintain these historic structures. Imagine a group of volunteers gathering to repaint the exterior of a lighthouse, their laughter and camaraderie echoing as they work together to preserve a piece of their heritage. These efforts ensure that the stories of lighthouse keepers are not forgotten, but celebrated and shared with future generations. As we conclude our journey through the world of lighthouse keepers, it's essential to recognize the impact they have had on maritime culture and the enduring legacy they leave behind. The stories of these guardians serve as a testament to the resilience of the human spirit, the importance of community, and the profound connection we share with the sea dot. So, as you settle into your bed, let the tales of lighthouse keepers wash over you like the gentle waves lapping at the shore. Reflect on their sacrifices, their bravery, and the enduring light that continues to guide sailors safely home. Remember that while their time may have passed, their stories will echo through history, reminding us of the intricate tapestry of our shared human experience.